Good morning. You know, I want to begin by saying thank you to the School Improvement Network family. They have taken me in, have completely taken care of me for the last year, 2 years, and even have given me some advice on wardrobe today. So Diva and others have been instrumental in me being up here and me being able to share the Kentucky story. You know, I want to begin by saying I'm able to do what I do because of Commissioner Terry Holliday. He is one of the most innovative leaders that I've met in my lifetime. But it's also because he has the courage, the commitment, and he's developing the capacity in our state to lead in a new and different way. And so we feel proud in Kentucky because we're able to share our story with you. And I want you to think about what you hear our state agency doing and what's happening back at home for you. And if your state agency and district leaders and school leaders are really pushing the envelope to get to equity and access for all students, to get to a phase or a period or a space where we can rethink education in this country so that we can deliver on the promises that we're making. And for 655,000 children across the state of Kentucky, that's what I'm charged to do, is to deliver on those results. And the individuals that work with me, I also want those of you in the audience that are from Kentucky to please stand at this moment in time. I know that we can't do it alone. These are the people. These are the people that I'm representing today. And so it's because of them that we're able to be here to share this story. I want to begin by saying we don't have a lot of time. And if you can't feel the sense of urgency from the previous speakers, by the end of my talk with you, you should feel the sense of urgency. I'm serious. I'm committed. And I also want to bring in this piece of time because teachers are working and leaders are working harder than ever before. If you think about the day and the life of a teacher or a leader, they're doing amazing things. And we're saying, make it happen. Make it happen. You're planning lessons. You're looking for materials. You're analyzing work. You're looking at data. Take a deep breath. You're talking to parents. You're going to meetings. You're implementing the Common Core. And all of that is a heavy burden, but teachers and leaders are making it happen. In spite of where we are in this country. And I'm going to talk to you just a few minutes about the dramatic shifts that are occurring in education in our profession today. But I want to begin by looking at this question. I want you to read this. How is innovation enabled through technology to improve teaching and learning practices? I purposefully worded it this way because I want you to understand it's not about the technology. It's about what the technology is enabling us to do to improve our practices. And so all of that is in the midst of all these dramatic shifts that are occurring. Increasing class size, a diverse population, a tight economy, the Common Core that I mentioned earlier, new assessments, and new technologies. And what I want to do is flip the script. Our conversations have really been about how students are using new technologies and what we're doing to help facilitate that process as educators. But I want us to rethink what we're doing as professionals, as 21st century educators, to use new technologies to improve upon our practices. All of that, in the midst of this dramatic shift and change in our profession, brings about opportunity and a spirit of innovation. but we have to capitalize on this window that is in front of us. It's going to close at some point, and if we don't take advantage of innovating and rethinking the way we do our business, we're going to miss that opportunity, and we won't be able to deliver on the results. So it's important that you understand that innovation is in two phases, or you can think about it in two ways. There's incremental innovation, and then there's transformative or disruptive innovation. And incremental innovation is about the things that we're changing to improve upon our practice, and it might be moving from standards grading to a mass standards-based reporting system. It might be from looking at implementing lessons in a certain way and moving to a project-based learning format and methodology of delivering. But that's not what we're looking for in our state. We're really looking for transformation and disrupting the system. And so what you'll hear from me today is about a platform that we have. And it is a system where teachers can enter into a one-stop shop. You know, when I talk to teachers across the state of Kentucky about what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, trying to align their new lessons to the new standards, going to multiple sources to find instructional resources out on the web and what they might have in their classrooms, trying to develop new assessments to be a part of their formative assessment process in their classroom. All of that is pretty much done manually. I remember what it was like. I would sit at a table of learners and be thinking about reading and designing lessons and then going back and shuffling these cards to make sure that I got all the groups together for the next day's lesson. Well, our system, which is known as CITS, the Continuous Instructional Improvement Technology System, does more for educators and I believe puts us into a phase of transforming teaching and learning. It does so in three ways. I'll just begin by sharing with you. It automates some things for us. It enhances our existing processes and practices. And it also changes existing processes and practices. Let me go back to automate. So I just shared with you how I used to sit at a table and shuffle cards in order to group students. The technology will do that for us now. Automatically, after a student has taken an assessment, teachers can see that information and data right away, and students are grouped based on how well they're mastering particular standards. That process is automated, and it allows me then to focus on design and what I need to do as an educator to ensure that students are experiencing the types of learning experiences that I want them to have, that are culturally responsive, that are connected and relevant. Another thing is the technology enhances those practices. So before, where we were handing out papers of assessments, we can take new technologies and students can use the clickers and take those assessments using the clickers. Teachers can see where students are on a day-to-day basis, and so that's enhancing our practice around formative assessment practices in our classrooms. And it can also change our existing practices. What I know and what I'm learning from what's happening in other countries is that teachers are engaged in collaborative processes. They're sharing and exchanging ideas. And in our system, in our learning platform, teachers can do this. They can share their promising practices and lessons. They can engage in conversations with teachers, not only in their building, not only in their district, but across the state. That is enhancing our ability to look at exemplary lessons, to share ideas, and to collaborate in new and different ways. And so it's an exciting time in Kentucky. And what I want you to do now is hear the voices of the teachers in Kentucky who are using and implementing CITS. I need my technology. There we go.
I can identify the main idea of a text.
With the new core standards, a lot of people were kind of uncertain. And with SITs, I mean, it's all there. It's the whole teaching package. It starts with your learning target all the way to remediation. And you see if your students have mastered the standard. I mean, it's everything that you need as a teacher.
It's a system that is aligned to the curriculum.
Is you can go directly to the standard, click on the standard, and it pops up all kinds of resources.
And to have activities and resources already aligned for what we need, that's exactly what we needed at the right time.
Teachers no longer have to spend countless hours searching for these resources because they're at their fingertips.
It's been awesome for making assessments. It's so quick and it's so easy and it's efficient, so it's made our life a whole lot easier.
Go ahead and put in your answer, and once you're finished, lay your clicker down.
Once you create the assessments, you can assess the kids using the clickers or on the computer. We're able to immediately see where students stand with the standards. Are they mastering what we're teaching? Are they still struggling with it? Do we need to go provide remediation to the students? And we can see that instantly.
Well, on the spot, you can modify what you're doing. If you see that students aren't getting the content, you can look on the computer, you're seeing reds pop up on the computer, then you're able to teach in a different way, go back and reteach things, and you can target specific skills that need to be retaught.
I think students now have a better opportunity to be successful, but because the teachers, it will be easier for teachers to determine exactly where that student is and exactly what the student needs.
We're able to identify the students who have not yet met proficiency with certain standards, and we're using our RTI program, Response to Intervention, to find those kids and provide the interventions necessary to move them forward.
A lot of times we're looking for specifically what scores the student received in the past. This program will have all of that in it. So we actually can go to a student and look specifically at what scores they have in the past. We can look at all the demographic data on that student and then tailor our instructional practices specific to that student's needs.
The data that you get empowers us as a district and supervisors to see where your students are, see where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and come up with plans to improve your district.
It's so user-friendly. Basically, it's the total package. It helps you do your job more efficiently and more easily.
I think this is the biggest thing we've had since I've been in education.
We have access to student data. We have access to formative assessment items that are required by Senate Bill 1. We have access to lesson planning, and it's all put there right in one place.
If a teacher will utilize the program, it will be remarkable in what it's capable of doing for instruction.
And I think that the more the teachers we get using this, the quicker and the better our students will be educated.
A transformation is happening in Kentucky. So I ask you, how are your states thinking about this transformation? And how are they looking to technology to connect it to a larger conversation around educator discourse, educator effectiveness? Are they at the heart of this agenda? Future success depends on three things, in my opinion. It depends on investing in the right things. It depends on investing in teachers, in leaders, for continuous improvement. Building social capital in the context of innovation. If one teacher begins this, another teacher hears about it, and it goes viral. That's what we're aiming to do in Kentucky, because we know that teachers and leaders matter. And we must act now, because the kids are depending on us. And so I ask you to rethink how you're doing business, because what was working is not going to work for the future. And so I hope that you're able to join us in our session later on this afternoon and learn more about some exciting things that are happening in Kentucky. Thank you.